Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Corey Smith, aka Tridot, CEO here at Missional Media Productions, and we're back at you once again. For a couple of months we haven't been able to give you any videos with a personal touch, i.e. our camera reviews, things like that, helpful hints, those kinds of things. Well, we actually haven't gotten the helpful hints yet, but our camera reviews have been our personal videos so far. We haven't gotten to do one in a while. We have given you a couple of things to check out, like promo videos, behind the scenes. If you haven't checked out the new music video by Exodus, then check it out. Click it right there. Click that link right there. It'll take you to the video. Check it out. Let us know what you think. What you think we can improve on. We're always looking to get a little bit better. But we haven't had a chance to do another review since our last 50/50 test, which was for the s8100 Coolpix Nikon camera. If you haven't seen that review, go ahead and click the video right there, and you can go ahead and go view that video as well. Let us know what you think. Was it helpful? Was it not? But for a while we haven't been able to give you a brand new review video, and we're finally back with the chance to do that. Now, I picked up a new camera in May, so that's just a couple of months ago, and as I said in the s8100 review, I was going to try and get the Nikon D7000, and I actually didn't end up getting that, and I'll explain why. But we'll get into that in a little bit. But today, what I'm going to talk to you about in our 50/50 test is what's in this bag. This is a low pro all-weather cover. Not the best bag in the world, but it served me very well, and it's kept protected. What we're actually looking at today. Let me take it out so you guys can see it, and we'll be taking a look at the Nikon D5100 SLR camera, digital SLR, not a film SLR. I don't really know anybody who still works with film SLRs, but this is a digital SLR. It is a very entry-level SLR. So, you know, you got the rubber plastic body. It's smaller than some of the pro-level cameras, like say like a Nikon D7000, or if you shoot Canon, it's smaller than the 7D. But it is very useful, and I would recommend it, and I'm going to tell you why I would recommend it as we get into this. But as I said, Nikon D5100, and I'll tell you guys the story and the reason why I ended up getting this camera. I actually purchased this camera in May at a Best Buy near my house. And I know what you're saying, Best Buy, why would you go there? There's camera stores, there's deals on eBay, Amazon, those kinds of things. And I agree with you, there are definitely those kinds of deals. But I was kind of in a squeeze. I had an event coming up like in the next couple of days after I bought this camera. I wanted to get some good image quality on the video, wanted to get some good image quality on the pictures. So I really needed to scoop up a camera in a short period of time. So I went into Best Buy, and the goal was I was going to get the Nikon D7000, which at the time in store in Best Buy, the price was $1,500 to get that camera, and that's just with the stock lens. That's no extras, no camera bag, no protectional tools, no extras added on, and that wasn't that great of a deal to me. But then I looked at the D5100 here, and I had a talk with a couple of the sales associates. I know they're not extensively into photography, but they were helpful in making the decision. What they actually revealed to me is that this has a couple of more features as far as shooting features than the D7000 has. It doesn't take as good image quality, picture or video. It doesn't take as good image quality, but that's okay because it still takes pretty good image quality. It has 11 focus points. And it goes up to ISO 6400, which, as I've said before, well, not to you, but I've said before to other people, if you need to go that high in your ISO, you're probably not in a situation where you're getting good enough lighting. You know, and there are situations where you might need to use it, but for the average photographer, that probably means you're not using the lighting that you need to use. But nonetheless, I ended up getting this camera because I was able to get this. I was able to get the low pro bag, so I can protect my materials, and I was also able to go a little bit beyond the stock lens. One thing I will say about the D7000 is it comes with a better stock lens than the D5100 does. The D5100 comes with a 18 to 55 millimeter lens, which I believe is the same stock lens that you'll get with the D3100, and that's cool. It still gives you good imagery. Here, let me show you what that one looks like. It gives you still good imagery, but it's not quite the thing that you would be looking for if you wanted good depth of field, if you wanted good distance, good range. You know, it's a basic little stock lens. It gives you decent quality, but it doesn't give you the shiny quality that you wanted. And with the D7000, I would have had a very similar stock lens that performs a little bit better. I will say that. But with getting this Nikon D5100, I was able to actually get a 55 to 200 millimeter f 4.0 to 5.6 telephoto lens that ranges from 55 millimeters to 200 millimeters. Great for depth of field, gives me good range in the field. I used this at a graduation actually earlier this year. Last month I used it at a graduation, and I was like way in the back. I mean, it was like a auditorium, amphitheater kind of deal. I was way in the back. Still got some great images from this lens. So I think it was a good trade up. Because one of the tools, or one of the pieces of advice that I've gotten from just checking around and looking into things, and studying and trying to be better at my craft, one of the best tips that I have come across, and I come across it from Fro Knows Photo. If you don't know who Fro Knows Photo is, you need to get familiar. Jared Colin, the people over there at Fro Knows Photo, they contribute a lot to the photography world, to the SLR world, as far as knowledgeability, keeping you informed. If you have never watched one of their videos, I definitely suggest you do. I'll put their YouTube information down in the details, and I'll also put their website down in the details. Great tips, all of it free, and there's contests, all that stuff. But one of the greatest tips that they've ever given, and I've taken it to heart, is it's better to have a decent camera and have great lenses. So that's what I'm trying to do, because eventually I'll move on past the D5100. Eventually people will move on past the D7000, so on and so forth, but the lenses will keep giving you performance, and you'll keep using them. So it's a good thing to invest in. So for me, the main reason why I got the D5100, let's recap, more features. I got to get an extra lens, which is a more advanced lens than the stock lens, and I got an all-weather cover to carry my camera in. And I know it's not the top of the line, but as a photographer, as a videographer on the go, you definitely want to protect your equipment. So that was definitely an upside for me. I'm not saying that that's going to be the upside for you. Now, if we want to get into this thing, I love the great design of this, and I'm going to tell you why I would suggest that you get a Nikon D5100 over a Nikon D3100 if you're looking into them. But we'll get into that in just a second. One thing I do want to say is I enjoy the way you charge the battery. You pop the battery right out of here, out of the bottom, slip it right in here into the battery charger. Flip the little plug out from the back, if you can see that there, and then you plug it in. It takes about 30 minutes to charge the battery, if that, and then you're back to shooting, you're back on the go. But I will say this, if you're going to take a lot of video with your SLR, which is not the primary focus of an SLR, but if you're going to take a lot of video, I would definitely suggest you get more than one battery. Actually, if you're going to do photography, I suggest you get more than one battery, just so you have a backup in tow. But the thing that I love about this camera is it's very well set up, especially if you're entry level. I have a little bit more extensive knowledge, but part of me getting this camera was it was the first SLR I've been able to own and extensively work with day in and day out. So I wanted a camera that I could grow with, and this was a great camera to grow with. I love the design. It's very easy. If you see here, you have your on-off switch right here, and right next to, right there on top of it, you have the shutter button. Right next to that, you have your record button, so you can go right into shooting yourself a video. You can change your aperture right here. You have your info button. Then of course you have your dial for your shooting settings right here. And right next to that, you have your live view, which means it'll change from your viewfinder to your screen, which I know you're thinking, where's the screen? Well, the screen's right here. You flip it out, and you can shoot from this way, shoot at different angles. I think that's one of the great things about this camera. Obviously, was one of the big things about having a D5100 was the flip out camera. I think it's more convenient the way that they've done it with the Nikon D5100. It gives you greater opportunity to shoot angles, and as I said, if you're an entry-level photographer, entry-level with the SLRs, you're just coming off a point and shoot, you're probably going to be using this for family gatherings, picnics, reunions, maybe small weddings or dinners or get-togethers, those kinds of things, and this camera is going to do all of that for you. And I think most of you, if you're going on entry level, you're going to be right here, right about here on that green spot on the dial, which is the auto shoot mode, and that'll do most of the work for you. You'll probably put your lens in autofocus, shoot from auto mode, and the camera will do most of the work for you, which it does brilliant work on its own. But if you want spectacular results and the images that you can kind of conceptualize in your head as a photographer, I suggest you get really familiar with manual focus, all of your shooting settings, and this is a great camera to get yourself acquainted with all of those things. Now, the thing that I would say about this, there's a couple of things. The D7000 has 2 SD card slots. This camera only has 1. It is not a magnesium body like a pro body like a D7000 on up would be. It is definitely not that. I don't know if you shoot Canon, I don't know if a 7D has a magnesium body, but this definitely does not. It's more like plastic and rubber, so it's not as durable if you were to drop it. But the thing about that, and my brother's coming in, what's up, dude? But the thing about that, it's not as durable if you were to drop it as a pro body would be. So it kind of gives you a give and take there. But another thing that I had going for me is that I got an in-store warranty in addition to the Nikon warranty, so I'm kind of covered no matter what happens with this. But the thing about it is the size is good, it's great in your hand, so it's pretty durable, and most of you guys are going to keep the strap, so you're not going to have too much problems dropping this. Even if you're more extensive and pro level, I would suggest that you keep a strap. If not the stock strap that comes with it, just some form of strap so you're not dropping this on the ground. Nonetheless, great camera for entry-level shooters. I think, like I said, most people are going to shoot from the auto mode and shoot with the autofocus on, which the camera will do most of the work for you in that case. But if you are more extensively knowledge, there's all kinds of great shooting modes. There's some in-camera editing like selective color, you can do high key, you can do silhouette, you can do miniature view. Those are the kinds of things that you'll get to explore with this camera. Very good. One of the things that isn't actually it is actually an upside, but it doesn't really put it too far above the D7000. I think it would probably put it maybe equal level for some people, is the video mode. It shoots 30 frames per second in 1080 HD, which I believe the Nikon D7000 only shoots in 24 frames per second. So that means this captures video better, but the image quality is actually better with the Nikon D7000. But with that said, I'm just going to get into looking at some of these images that we've taken from, these pictures are coming from a picnic. Just taking a couple of pictures, sampling what the images are like in the daylight, and these are all shot with auto. Even these come from a photo shoot that I did for someone's graduation announcement. The lighting's pretty good. Daylight's going to give you a great lighting effect, but even here, as we get into these pictures that were taken at a bowling alley at night, you know, even lower light, the camera's going to do a lot of good work for you. Now these pictures from the concert right here, these were from a concert at my church. These were a little bit more difficult to shoot, a little bit lower lighting, but even with these pictures from the mountain, wanted to just kind of edit them. And so these are edited pictures. Wanted to make sure they have the color scheme like if somebody was sitting there with you going through this. We also have in just a couple of frames here coming up, a video I took from those same hills, the San Jacinto hills, going down into San Jacinto from Beaumont. It was a very overcast and windy day. I was originally going to use this footage for this video, but the volume was messed up because it was overcast and windy, but you can see how well it performs. It's just because I wasn't so sure about the manual focusing from in front of the camera. That's the reason why my face is blurry in the foreground. But overall, very good image quality, very stable, and I like it a lot. So at the end of the day, I guess the question that we're asking is, would I recommend this camera? Who would I recommend it for? I would definitely recommend this camera, especially if you're an entry-level user. 5-star camera, easily, because you're mostly going to be using this in auto shoot mode. You're going to be using it with autofocus, probably because you're not into all the features, and it'll help you grow on the features. So I think as far as the entry-level camera, you can't do much better than this at this point. Definitely better than the d3100. The flip out screen gives you a lot of convenience in giving you different shots and different opportunities to take great photos at different angles, and just to play around with it a little bit. As far as if you are more extensive, I'd say it's more like a 4.3, 4.4 camera. I mean, it's not extensively professional like something like a D7000 getting on into the professional ranks, or if you shoot Canon, getting into like something like you know, like the 7D or something like that. But it is a great camera that you can use if you have extensive knowledge. You'll with some good lenses, you'll still get great image quality, and you'll know what you're doing. So at the end of the day, you know, it's not the greatest made camera in the world, so it's not as durable as maybe a magnesium alloy body, but you're going to get great image quality, and if you know what you're doing, I don't think you're going to be dropping the camera too much. So especially if you're coming from point and shoot to SLR, get this camera. 5-star hands down. And if you're not, you're a little bit more extensive, I still say it's a good camera for you to have, especially if you're low on funds. Great camera to get and still be able to afford a couple of extras, and you'll grow on into your next project. Above all, make sure you're getting good lenses. That'll give you great image quality. Hope the video's been very helpful. We'll flash the rating again after this, but I just want to remind you, subscribe so you can get updates. Leave comments in underneath the details. Let us know what was helpful, what wasn't helpful. If you have any other questions that we didn't cover in this 50-50 test, we'll try and answer them for you if you ask them in the comment box below, and hopefully it won't be too long before we get back to you with something like this. Alright, you guys, be easy, and remember, whatever you do, however you do it, make it a mission. Peace.